This man puts the quill and pad like under one arm and heads into the forge, realizes that you are still standing outside and turns to look at you. He goes, "Well," and continues into the forge.
Blub just kind of looks at everybody like, someone woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning and just toddles inside.
Once you get into the forge itself, there is a rush of heat that comes in, and the smell that comes with a smithy is omnipresent inside the forge. And as you move in, you can see there is a platform just inside the archway within the mountain itself. And you have this moment to look around you and see a very high ceiling that seems to disappear into the darkness, and a very large winding stairwell that goes down several stories into the mountain itself. And the sound, though it echoes, you can hear the forge masters down at the lower levels of the forge. It doesn't reverberate the way like sound travels in a cathedral, how it bounces and reverberates. It seems muffled, as if it were magically dampened, but it's still present. You can tell, even from this high up, what the main purpose of this structure is. And if anybody takes a moment to like look out and over the stairwell, you can see that there is a way to see various levels around the stairwell as it continues down into the forge floor. This very slender, stern man has gone over to a desk at the um on that platform near the entrance, and he is speaking very quickly and tersely at someone who is dressed similarly to him, but clearly younger, and is like rapidly nodding as he's getting these instructions. This is what they want. They want, yeah, they'll probably need 5 sets of shoes, and we need to get the forge coal. So if you'll grab one of the ones that's sitting over there. I think you just need to not have cold feet, yes?
For the most part, yes.
You don't? Okay, great. And so he goes off into a set of bookshelves, basically, that seems to have sort of a assortment of items. And Arbor and Oliver, you both notice that off kind of on the opposite side of the stairwell and like down a little bit, you are noticing what looks like familiar folk. You've got a whole like clutch of folks in plain clothes, which seems kind of out of place in a blacksmith's area. But they are all kind of working very intently and quietly, and you see a lot of um, somatic components being performed. You recognize these styles of casting that are happening like across the way.
So to clarify, is this something that I shouldn't be expecting? Like it's a surprise to me because I'm not quite
Given
sure how magical
yeah,
the world is
given
supposed to be.
what Guildmaster Arden told you, like you didn't expect there to be any kind of like casters up here. You were kind of expecting just
Mm,
like maybe a rough and tumble farming village.
mm-hmm.
You were not expecting, industry up
Right,
here.
it's a lot of magic around here. Apparently,
Yeah.
I I nudge I nudge Arbor and it's like, look, there's more magic. What's happening? Yeah!
Again, cautious not to draw attention to ourselves, friend. But yes, I have noticed this is far more arcane than I think any of us had quite realized.
Okay, don't be obvious.
And the Slender Man comes the Slender Man. Uh the Slender Man in robes comes out from the bookshelves again, and he is carrying a um sort of silken pouch that has a similar to shimmer to the robes that you saw in the speaker's hall. And in the other hand, he is carrying um, a very small orb of obsidian that he is putting into the pouch, and it glows very faintly with a blue like shifting light on the inside. And he pulls the pouch closed and he says, here, either when you get back I will need this back, or I will need um, compensation from the constable.
Absolutely understood. Thank you very much. Question. We could see the fires in the forge, correct?
Yes.
Are they also
Or you
blue
can see
like
the
the
glow of the light
right?
anyway.
Are they also blue like the residential fires?
Yes.
Okay. So she just kind of stares at it curiously and looks around her and just goes, by the way, what magic is it that makes the fires blue?
Magic.
Yes.
It's
I've
it's
never
not
seen blue
magic.
fire before. It's not?
No,
What is it?
the trees.
The trees.
You aren't from around here.
No.
It's the trees.
The
The
trees.
the sap and the
Ah.
the resin from the trees,
Ah.
it's blue when you burn it.
Huh. It's pretty.
It's abundant.
You sound upset about that.
No, it
You just sound very upset in general.
thank
This
you.
was a lovely conversation. Thank you so much.
Just
Self
so you
binding
know,
the snowshoes onto his pack, like
that little bit of equipment there is just shy of 2,000 gold.
I swear on my honor as a knight of the Order of the Blep, this shall be returned to you.
Good. Thank you. Anything else I can do for you in the name of the constable?
She looks expectantly at her party members like,
they're like
nope, we're perfectly fine, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
Goodbye.
And he busies himself at the desk with ledgers.
She turns and just immediately starts her half walk, half scurry.
Yeah.
Out,
The
her typical
assistant
gait. Yeah.
who got the snowshoes for all of you is kind of like, have fun.
Be
He's
well,
Not
like
Brendan.
quite
very
as sour.
subtly trying to wish you well without being noticed.
Oh, wait, in that case, I would love for Edward to kind of look back and give him a very polite nod. You know, he's a kid, he's doing nice work, and he just kind of nods and then quickly
Yeah.
scurries away. He's like,
Excellent. All right. So
As soon as we're
off
outside,
into the
smiles
mountains.
drop. hands Oliver the pouch, just goes, "That man was completely unpleasant. But let's go."
Alrighty. Off and up.
Off and up.
The Arbor, have you seen any change in direction from the talisman? Or is it following the path still?
That's a great question. This whole time, I've been keeping it like slipped just under my cloak, so to speak.
Yeah.
I've very wary about putting it around my neck because I'm not quite sure who that might alert, so to speak. And I don't want anybody to notice that we have it. So I've been keeping my eye on it the whole time while
Okay.
also trying to make sure that none of the residents do. But as far as I'm aware, I've yet to be notified by it.
While you have been in the village, there has been a very clear heading, but it has not seemed particularly more or less impatient than it had. There is a steady reminder that you are supposed to be going in that direction.
And that direction being up the path.
Yes.
Okay.
Up the path. And it's interesting, like if you've used a compass has a steady heading, right? But this seems to go to a point and then go to the next point and go to the next point. It's not that it points in one steady direction the whole time.
I think if we end up hitting bad weather, I can take the lead, but I think for now we can keep like we were before, following the direction of the talisman to each checkpoint.
Yeah.
And kind of stay in the middle in case something comes up or people fall behind.
Speaking of the weather, who has not yet made Arbor? I don't think you've made one of our weather checks yet. And Blep? All right, we will have
nature check earlier, but that
right.
I think
Yes.
I made the first weather check.
Yes. So Blep, I will have you make this weather check. With that D4. As you come out of the forge and have a chance to look around and get situated with your new equipment, the thunderhead of the storm has started to curve up the mountain in the way that cloud cover can kind of shape with a little bit of a bubble over a mountain range. You can see that there's a kind of channel of skyline that's there in between the leading edge of that storm. But the occlusion of the forest around is starting to be evident. You can see where the snow starts in that storm as you look out, because you're higher up in the valley at this point. You can look out on the edge of the basin and you can see that mist that has moved in just a tiny bit but doesn't seem to have really dipped down into the valley. And you can see the snow line. Similar, a lot of us have seen like how there's a leading edge of rain in a heavy rainstorm. You can see that line in the snow, and you can see the crackling lightning across the clouds, and you can hear the thunder now. It is very audible. It is no longer faint rumblings far, far away. It is there. and it is on your heels.
What time of day is it?
It's difficult to tell. There's enough cloud cover now that the sky has shifted significantly. Does anybody have keen mind? No keen mind feat?
Unfortunately, no.
All right. So, with that, um, Callum, would you please roll me a survival check? Very nice. You've kept pretty good track while you've been here. You've been keeping a weather eye on the sky, and so you are fairly confident that it is just before zenith. It is going to get real bad as the morning turns into afternoon. But you have about a half day, as far as you can tell, to continue traveling.
Yeah, no, like I know this is looking bad, but we need to get as far up as we can and just know that we'll have to try and find some cover here, not too far up the road.
Race you
right.
to the top, and she's just gonna start taking off.
Oh, goodness. Alrighty.
She's gonna dash to go up to 50 feet.
Perfect. Alrighty. So I am going to make a quick roll here.
Picture like T-ball little kids and like the short little legs that just move
Yes.
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 like super fast. Like that's all I'm picturing.
Oh, 100%.
I love it.
Actually,
Alrighty.
I think she
So
probably goes to all fours to dash, but
you take off up the path and you head out of the basin and up the foot of the peak. And as a little bit of an idea here, you are now at the base of the main central peak of the Ashfold Caldera. This is one particular mountain that stands tall and obvious amid this large, sprawling, craggy mountain range. And so you are going to be taking a path that kind of spirals up and switches back along the face of this exposed single mountain. And as you continue up the mountain, Arbor, if you would please roll me a d4, this time for something different. A 1. Very well. So, as you continue, Kellum's knowledge about traveling in the mountains, especially traveling in the snow, is invaluable to all of you. And especially as you continue forward, Oliver, you are still able to kind of intersperse a little bit of flight amid your walk up. It's windy, it's a blustery kind of time right now. It is not as windy as it looks over there, but you can feel the wind picking up, and it does make it difficult to stay airborne. But you are feeling much more comfortable than you expected at this point. You are just, it feels like a nice, balmy fall day to you. It's that kind of weather that, like, right between that summer heat and that winter chill, where you're like, oh, I could wear long sleeves today. Like, it's very nice. And you're like, why was everybody so concerned about me being too cold? And similarly, Edward, you don't feel quite that comfortable. It's very obviously winter, but it doesn't have that like biting abrasiveness that you might expect it to. You feel pretty comfortable. It's not too bad. Like, you don't want to spend all day out in this weather, but it's not horrible. As long as you have your
Is it
scarf pulled up, you're all right.
aesthetically, does the whole location look rather pretty? Or does it feel more just like, oh, it's storm, it's not that great?
It's not quite like right in the storm at this point. There are aspects of it that you're like, you know, if it wasn't quite so windy, this would be nice to just like sit down and have a read.
Okay. Yeah, he's actually feeling pretty good. Like pretty proud that he's in snow for the first time, and also, wow, it's really pretty and I get to see this for the
Yeah,
first time. Yeah.
that's awesome. I love that. So as you continue on, Arbor, Sir Blep, and Callum, you are glad that you are well prepared, especially as the wind continues to pick up. You are very glad that you have those winter clothes and that you spent the time to make sure that you have a good mode of travel to get up the path. There is a lot of snow continuing as you go up that is already there, and you haven't really gotten into the proper snowfall yet.
Mhm.
And you're starting to see a little bit of the like drifting flakes at the head of the storm, but there's still plenty of snow around. You are not quite to the point where the standing snow is thick enough that you really need the snowshoes, but you can see as you look up the path that it is going to be necessary.
I'll probably at that point shift ahead and kind of tap sort of lap and be like, let me take the lead and kind of set a trail here to try and cut through and make it easier, one for our shorter companions, but two, just to be the safe path. So everyone's
Excellent.
not trudging through kind of fresh snow.
By all
Perfect.
means, lead the way.
You might want to put on your
Everyone,
snow boots
please.
now, by the way,
Oh,
versus the boots of speed.
Everyone,
that's
please
right.
make a survival check. Kellum, yours will of course be at advantage.
You for advantage.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Alrighty. So, Kellum, you are doing your best to clear a path. You are getting on quite well. While you are not expressly familiar with these pathways, it is very easy for you to recognize the slope and the patches of snow that have started to turn to ice and help navigate your compatriots along through this um, surprisingly well worn kind of pathway. It is a very natural pathway, and it's difficult to see a lot of the markers. But every here and there, you happen to notice there are small stone stacks or small wrapped pillars of root growth that are here and there that you recognize as rangers' trail markings or cairns. And as you continue on, you are pointing out some of the pitfalls and things like that. And Sir Blep is kind of right there at your heels, paying very close attention. And the as the group continues backwards, Arbor has fallen to the last of the group at this point, and you have kind of gotten distracted with the talisman that you're holding. It continues to point up the path, and you've gotten kind of interested in how the light will travel around the piece of obsidian, and you'll notice that it comes down and around, and it'll get to like the 7 o'clock or the 5 o'clock position, and then kind of quickly continue back around to the front. And there's something very fascinating about it. And you're looking at it very intently, and then suddenly lose your footing, and you are face first in the snow.
Ouch.
It's very cold.
So cold.
Oh no, do we all see that happen?
You can all hear it because he's
No.
behind you.
Just hear a thud.
hmm The thud and crunch
Yeah.
of all of the snow.
I feel like Blep in her very hyper state with the nat 20 that she got will just turn around and just run over to Arbor and help him up and just try to dust the snow off of him and be like, "You good? You okay? All right," and just take off right after Callum again. Because adventure.
Excellent.
Is the snow getting deeper at this point, or is it being pretty
snow
consistent?
is getting deeper the higher you get. Just because there's been a little bit of spring melt, and so the lower elevations have a little bit less snow, but it is getting deeper the higher you go. Yes, Oliver.
With Arbor's permission, I'd like to use prestidigitation to help clean him up and maybe make him a bit warmer. Like warm his clothes and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll take that little bit of assistance.
Prestidigitation.
I love that. It's so good. It's such a good spell. So, Arbor has been dusted off, and you guys are off again. And as you continue up, there is a switchback in the path, and you start to hear some scrabbling in what sounds like a cave. As
May I
you
roll?
start to round the corner.
So I
No, please go ahead. Go ahead.
was it as I probably heard it, I probably throw my hands up and kind of squat down.
Okay.
Kind of keep people kind of just like snap to kind of thing of like hold up and kind of wave everyone together if we kind of huddle or get close so we can whisper and not be too loud.
Mm-hmm.
And just make sure we're like, it sounds like there's a cave with something up there. Not really sure what, but we should all be on our guard as we start to make our way up the path.
Could I potentially make a perception check on the sounds, like sidle up next to Kellum and listen very intently? Or
You can.
Ooh, okay. Do I have? I just have proficiency. Okay.
Very nice.
Ooh.
You can hear several beings that seem to switch between bipedal and quadrupedal, and you can hear a little bit of like grunting and growling, and sounds almost like squabbling.
But it doesn't sound like a particular language or anything like that.
Not one that you recognize.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, Oliver.
Hand raising.
Method. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Sorry. So I do know comprehend languages.
Okay.
I could cast it as a ritual, but it might take too long. Should I burn a spell slot for it? You guys think? All right.
Burn the spell slot. 10 minutes is too long.
I
Not this weather.
comprehend languages.
Excellent. So, as you cast the spell and kind of sidle your way up against the embankment so that you're not like visible to what's over the switchback, you discover a language that you have never heard before. And you hear two voices. One moment. I have to check my numbers. I think it's two voices. And you hear, "No, that's my meat. I caught it. It's mine." "No, I eat first. I'm bigger and you know it. I eat first."
I would like to relay this information to the group, but also I'm a little nervous about it. Are they going to start brawling? Because that does not make me comfortable.
Better they brawl with each other than with us.
True.
You're not wrong.
I know I'm not wrong. This isn't my first go around.
It is for me, so. But yes, I suppose. So should we just leave them alone, or?
I was like,
How-
it might be. With this far up, would I know if this is still an area where there'd be like bears potentially?
There could be bears. This does not sound like bears.
Got it. Like, that was one thing that came to my mind. Is like, do I think it's an animal versus?
It,
Would I know, or?
you know that this is a language. This is distinctly a language. In fact, give me, just to see how distracted you are, give me a history or a survival check. Your choice.
Okay.
I'm sorry, history or nature?
Well, you know, that
History
would still be
anyway.
my choice. Yeah.
This language, which you very rarely have seen anything about, but you picked up the odd explorer's guide with your regular studies. These are Yetis that are
Ooh.
arguing in this cave.
Hikers. All right. Friends who know about nature. Apparently, these are Yetis. I don't know what to do.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I would know that I don't want to mess with a Yeti.
The scuffling
I
is
would
getting
agree.
more intent,
So
and Oliver, you are continuing to hear bickering.
why don't I? If we want,
No,
the
I
one's
went
good. We can
hunting
try.
last time.
How
We
far
can try and.
away? Sorry, how far away is the mouth of the cave?
Roughly 50 feet.
50 feet. Okay.
But you are dropped a level. So
I see.
you're
So
like
it's above
20
us.
feet down and then 50 feet across.
Got you.
Fair.
Well, I do have 60 feet of dark vision, but I still probably can't see them as much as see that. Don't know about that cave.
Well, let's try and just get by if we can, as quickly as we can. And I'm gonna go ahead and cast Pass Without Trace.
Very nice. And that's a flat plus 10. Yes.
Flat plus 10. Everyone or each creature within 30 feet. Pick the party. Plus 10 bonus to Dexterity Stealth checks. And can't be
Very
tracked
nice.
except for magical means. So no tracks left behind.
Wait, plus 10 to stealth and dexterity checks.
Sorry, Stealth, dexterity, parentheses,
you.
stealth checks.
Okay. So to be like, damn, they updated it. Okay, cool.
Just the stealth,
Just a
but no tracking and stealth. So now we have plus 10.
Perfect. Go ahead and make those stealth rolls, please.
Blep will
Sure thing.
behave and stay within 30 feet. Let's see. Oh, how do I do a custom stealth roll on here?
Just add 10 to it and just do it that way. So that's a straight 21 without the plus 10. It'll be 31 with that.
Mine would
Oh,
be.
so we add the plus 10
You
to
add
the
10 to your stealth roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine would
Wow.
be 20.
Good stealth.
Mine would be 24. No,
Mine would
wait.
be 22.
22. No, 24? What did I roll? I rolled a 14 total.
Yeah,
24.
you rolled a 14.
I can do math.
31, 2 22s, 24, and a 15.
And we don't leave any footprints.
Yes. You
Wow.
begin to move up and around the switchback, and you make your way along the path there. And there is a little bit of a ridge along the edge there, but it is open towards the path that you came from. As you move up, you see a path that goes across the mouth of the cave, and you see a path that goes up a little bit more of a rocky area, but it does kind of go up and over. And as you move up around the corner, you hear the Yeti back in their little cave kind of stop and sniff the air. Hey, what is that? Oliver hears. The rest of you just hear grunting.
We'll keep with that, and knowing that there's a split. Is the rocky way traversable? Can I just tell, like, at a glance? It's rougher, but it's passable.
Rougher, but you think you can get up. Yes.
I cast a minor illusion of words.
Okay.
Let's say they can smell us.
Does anybody else have dark vision aside from Arbor? You have dark vision as well? Excellent. So Kellum, Sir Blep, and Arbor, as you were glancing around, you can see into the cave that there are shapes that look like shadows cast by a fire, and they are getting bigger, which means they are moving away from the source of light.
Motion, like, we need to move and go towards
Which direction are you going?
the rocky path.
Alrighty.
So we can make
I need Kellum to make a survival check, which you make an advantage. If anybody would like to assist, they can. I just need to know how.
Let's see.
Yeah, I can assist. I was looking at the wrong thing. I have proficiency in survival.
Okay. How would you like to assist Kellum? narratively.
Narratively. And just describe to me one more time what Kellum is doing. I want to make sure I
So
have the right
Callum
image.
has decided the path that goes like up and around the cave.
Right. Okay. In that case, I think Edward's gonna run and catch up so that he's at his side, and he's gonna get his crossbow ready, just just in case. But he's going into defensive mode. Six
Nice.
three skinny man, ready to protect.
I love it. I'm here for it.
Mm.
All right, Callum, narrate. How would you like to forge the path for your group?
I continue through the rocks, spending most of my effort like getting snow out of the way and like using my body as a plow kind of thing, roughing
Mm-hmm.
my way through. Um, I probably knowing it's rocky even. I don't have time for it. Part of it as we're going through, I'm quickly unbinding the rope that I have. So it kind of drags half behind me and I tie it off on my waist. So there's something. So
Yeah,
there's some so we can all kind of stay connected as we're traversing the rocks here. Because
very nice.
and again, kind of slowly trying to pick the best path, clearing snow, but also getting footing as we continue up.
Yes. I want everybody to roll one more set of stealth as we go.
Another 24.
23 for me.
Okay.
21.
23, 21, 24, and 14. You are continuing up, and you are each grabbing the rope that Kellum has laid out behind him, and he is just shouldered down, pushing his cloak out to get as much of a path behind him as possible. And you are all continuing on, forging ahead as quickly as you can. And Arbor, you were having the worst time keeping footing on this steep, rocky terrain, and you like managed to catch yourself, but you are making a whole lot of noise. Somehow you found some gravel and it slips out from underneath your feet, and you seem okay. You're all right. The whole group continues, and you can hear the Yetis come out from the cave, and they are hunting around, but they don't seem to turn the corner and notice which direction you went. But you can hear them. They are so close. Yes.
You muted.
Sorry, I keep forgetting. I assume that me and Arbor are a little close to each other because we've been like traveling like that for a while now, right?
Yeah.
I think to help him a little bit, can I use like mage hand and like steady him and like hold his hand so that he doesn't get
Yeah.
lost in the dark?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
As one of the
I'll
few
do that.
people left who has dark vision, I would like to say that Sir Blep brings up the rear this time around instead, sword drawn, ready to possibly fight Yetis.
Perfect.
Actual sword,
Excellent.
damn.
So you guys
she's
continue
prepared
up.
for anything.
Perfect. I love it. So you guys continue up. It is very tense for a long few moments as you are forging your way up into the snow and across this less traveled area that has a lot of accumulated snow. The snowfall begins to be more steady. You are seeing more flakes in the air, and you are able to finally take a breath and realize that the Yetis have not followed you, and you are able to continue up the path. And there I am going to congratulate you on an encounter that would have been quite dangerous, well avoided, and we are going to take our break.